forces in this world, both mutant and human alike, believe that a war is coming. Anything happens.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. We just had New York Comic-Con, and Elizabeth Olsen just did a big Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars interview about coming back as her Scarlet Witch in the Marvel movies and doing more X-Men stories, more things in general with the X-Men, because they're also bringing them back for Avengers Doomsday as well. Thanks to all the Scarlet Witch and Magneto stuff that they're doing in Doomsday, it actually feels like a pretty good time to break out my Magneto helmet, too. She's also going to be featured during the Vision Quest series next year. We got a trailer for that at New York Comic Con as well. So she's also talked more about the future of her character in the Marvel movies just in general. And a lot of it has to do with what they're doing with the X-Men characters. So we'll break it all down because there is a lot of stuff coming up. She's also talked a lot about wanting to do a more legit version of House of M in the upcoming X-Men movies, which it does sound like they are eventually building towards. We've also got some details about her subplot during Avengers Doomsday because apparently she's coming back as multiple different characters, not just her MCU Scarlet Witch that we last saw in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. So she also explained a little bit why she stepped away after that movie too, why she hasn't been in the last couple real big Marvel movies where you'd think that she would have appeared, or big TV series, because there have been so many references to her since you actually last saw her. If you are a big fan of Elizabeth Olsen or Scarlet Witch, or just a really big fan of the classic X-Men comics, there's a lot of really good news to unpack here because of what's happening with her is heavily connected to the X-Men. Like, there's a big reason why they keep referencing her so much in the last couple of movies and TV shows after she seemingly went away in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. Also, because it's getting close to the end of the year, this is when they tend to release their big teasers for Avengers movies, other big upcoming movies. Even though they've delayed Avengers Doomsday to Christmas next year, we will probably see more actual official Avengers Doomsday stuff soon. But the whole reason why you're seeing so much Scarlet Witch news recently is because of New York Comic Con, and separately, alongside that, Elizabeth Olsen was also promoting another movie that she's in, and anytime anybody interviews her about anything, they always ask her about coming back as Scarlet Witch. No matter what she's talking about, the conversation always goes back to Scarlet Witch. This is just some of that interview. I can't repost the entire thing, but this is her talking about coming back.
This is next, these pins of Infinity Stones, because I'm in Avengers. And I care a lot about playing the Scarlet Witch. I always hope to do something surprising every time I've been able to return. It's meant the world to me to be a part of it. Being part of the MCU has meant so much to my life, and there's a family that we get to return to.
I love the way that she stares directly into camera, just dead serious as cancer when she talks about coming back. It's like Kevin Feige is on the other side of the camera with a gun pointed directly at her, telling her not to give away too many things. Also love that she carries around the Infinity Stones with her everywhere she goes, no matter what movie she's working on. That part isn't meant to be any kind of teaser for her Avengers Doomsday subplot or Secret Wars or anything like that. The Infinity Stones are just real-life, very expensive jewels that were given to her as a gift after Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame, and she just keeps them as a remembrance for the Infinity Saga movies that she was in, like all those Marvel movies between her first appearance in Avengers Age of Ultron and Avengers Endgame. There were a lot of gifts that Kevin Feige gave all the different actors after Avengers Endgame. But if you didn't realize, yes, she is actually coming back as MCU Scarlet Witch that we last saw at the end of Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. Matt Shakman, who directed the Fantastic Four movie, and he also did WandaVision before that working with Elizabeth Olsen, said that she's still alive after Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. Like, Wanda's always alive out there. So part of the idea is that when she sacrificed herself to destroy the Darkhold Temple, she didn't permadie, she wasn't fridging herself. Kevin Feige had just built in an out for her to take a break from the Marvel movies because she'd been in so many things during that short amount of time because of WandaVision, because of Avengers Endgame, Infinity War, basically all these different things back to back to back for so many years. She said that she just wanted to work on a lot of indie movies, non-Marvel movies for a good long while, but she did want to come back eventually. Cut to a couple of years later, and now we're in that time for her to come back because it's Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars. Basically, they were just waiting for the next big Avengers movies to bring her back for real, which is why there were so many references to her during Agatha all along, and then will be during the Vision Quest series. We're supposed to see a more legit version of her during the Vision Quest series, but in a twisty kind of way, because she's not actually for real supposed to come back till Avengers Doomsday. She also literally just came back during the Marvel Zombies episodes as the Dead Queen version of Scarlet Witch. Like, that was her, Elizabeth Olsen, voicing the character, if you couldn't tell. She had a lot of funny things to say about that series, too, because she's not a traditional voiceover actress, so it was a little bit weird for her doing that version of the character.
It's a burden, isn't it? To hold all this power. I've come to ease your pain.
Here's the thing with Scarlet Witch during Avengers Doomsday, though. Reportedly, she's going to be playing multiple different versions of Scarlet Witch in the upcoming Avengers movies. The first one we see sounds like it's going to be her as a version of Wanda from the X-Men universe that Monica Rambeau got stuck in at the end of the Marvels movie that's supposed to be the universe where all these classic X-Men come from that we've seen in the lineup here. I believe it's also supposed to be the X-Men team that Channing Tatum's Gambit is going to come from. We also just got a teaser for what their comic book accurate costumes are going to look like in the movie. They're kind of a combination of the classic 90s, think X-Men 97 costumes, and Joss Whedon's astonishing X-Men run costumes. Supposedly on that Earth, Ian McKellen's Magneto is living on Genosha with his entire family, ruling over it like a king in a House of M type of situation, but it's not a full House of M situation because it's not a reality warp from Scarlet Witch. Like, they're not doing that subplot during the movie. There's not going to be a moment where she says no more mutants or anything like that. Like, it won't be exactly like the comics. It'll just be vibes of House of M. And I believe the only mutants that are actually living on Genosha are the Brotherhood of Mutants. Like, the X-Men are still in upstate New York at the X-Mansion. I think the version of Quicksilver during this is supposed to be Evan Peters. We will see about that. I don't know that Aaron Taylor Johnson will be coming back as his version of Quicksilver. Maybe there's a chance for that. He's actually joked about that in the past. Maybe if we're lucky, they'll also do a live-action version of Polaris as well. We'll see Polaris during X-Men 97 Season 2. Should be played by Neve Campbell, but it'll be animated Polaris in a completely different universe, so completely separate thing from what's happening in Avengers Doomsday. And part of the reason why the Russos are doing her this way, like this kind of an Elizabeth Olsen Scarlet Witch cameo, is to pay off the idea of Magneto being her father and it being Ian McKellen's version of Magneto, who is Scarlet Witch's father. They just set it in an alternate universe, so they need to get all complicated with MCU Scarlet Witch because the X-Men don't technically exist inside the MCU. They're just teasing the idea of mutants right now with a couple different characters, but we don't have legit X-Men on the MCU 616 Earth right now.
Is that me? Is that Thor? Is he crying?
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. That happens in the distant future.
Why is Thor crying?
People have asked Elizabeth Olsen several times which version of Magneto she wants to be her father, like when they're on screen together, and she said Ian McKellen she likes a little bit better than Michael Fassbender's version of Magneto. Not to throw him under the bus or anything like that, because they are technically meant to be the same version of Magneto, but it just makes a little bit more sense if it's the older version of Magneto. So it sounds like it's mostly for the benefit of that, like, oh look, it's Scarlet Witch and Magneto together on screen. But remember, it's not meant to be the MCU version of Scarlet Witch. She's supposed to come back separately during the movie, also seemingly in some subplot that's tied to the Young Avengers Children's Crusade storyline, some aspects of that, but not the actual full story. She's also said many times that she does want to do more X-Men stories just in general in the movies, because Scarlet Witch is also an X-Men character. It's just that she's been in so many Avengers comics over the years that most people think of her as an Avenger first, but she does have a long history with the X-Men. Marvel just hasn't been able to do that until now because of the rights situation with the X-Men characters and them finally buying out Fox and getting the characters back. This is also part of the reason why they're doubling down so much on the Billy and Tommy storyline after WandaVision, because they're building up to Scarlet Witch eventually returning and them being together briefly as a family, reuniting with each other. During the Agatha finales, Billy had a vision, to make all the Vision puns as possible, about Tommy, and the adult Tommy actor during Vision Quest is supposed to be played by Rory Malika, who also just starred in a production of Clarkson with Joe Locke, so they were already working together before they came together as brothers. They literally just posted a funny video about this just because it's awkward now because of their relationship in the other production and now they're brothers in the MCU. Just a couple years ago, before all the big Marvel movie and TV show changes, the original plan for all of them, including Scarlet Witch, was a slowly adapted version of the Young Avengers Children's Crusade storyline, where they both learned that they're brothers, then they learned what happened to Scarlet Witch and that they are their resurrected children, so it's way more complicated in the comics, but they find out that she's lost all of her memories. Dr. Doom has been gaslighting her, and she's about to be married to him, like he's tricked her into marrying him.
This is my wife.
I think the only part of that subplot that survived now in the current version of Avengers Doomsday, Secret Wars, and what comes after is that Billy and Tommy will still be looking for Scarlet Witch, and when she does return, she'll still have lost all of her memories, and Robert Downey Jr.'s Dr. Doom will be trying to take advantage of that to further his goals so he can utilize her powers. Dr. Doom is meant to be really, really powerful during Avengers Doomsday, but Scarlet Witch is so powerful he doesn't want her working against him, so he's basically trying to use her like a chess piece. They are obviously not going to be doing any of the Dr. Doom Scarlet Witch romance subplot in Avengers Doomsday or Secret Wars, like they're just cutting all of that stuff out. Elizabeth Olsen said that Kevin Feige actually asks the actors what stories they want to do and then does those stories. I just experienced a version of this in real life with James Gunn when I talked to him, and he actually said that they do pay attention to what the fans want and do try to do that most of the time. There's a whole lot to unpack here, so everybody just post all your reactions in the comments below and let me know what kind of X-Men stories you want to see with Scarlet Witch after the big Marvel reboot after Secret Wars, because it does sound like she will keep coming back to Marvel and just take breaks in between that. As she says during her interview, always loves coming back to Marvel, to her family, so to speak, both metaphorically and also within the context of the story, Billy and Tommy. Just because of New York Comic Con, there were a ton of trailers that either leaked out or were released officially. I've done videos for most of those. Click here for the Vision Quest Comic Con trailer with White Vision, Tommy, a couple other big new characters, big Iron Man characters returning, and click here for my X-Men 97 Season 2 trailer video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.